Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'll make it pop.
With your host, Parker. Featuring the sultry sounds of Fred and also Alan on the board.
Let's go already!
And now, let's start the damn show.
Welcome, one and all, to the 58th edition of the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast. I'm just rolling through it, Alan. We are so glad that you could join us on this very, very special occasion. Fred, you're here. That's how I'm going to introduce you this time. Fred, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, I'm here.
That's pretty good. Nope, you're here. That's pretty good.
I'm not going to say nothing else.
I know. We're just rolling. We're just going to keep it moving tonight. We don't have time for this shit. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, Fred. Alan, welcome to the show as well. I know you're a man about town. You've been in 3 states in 24 hours. You're all over the place.
Yes.
I'm glad you were able to make it to the palatial Black Lincoln Collective Studios just in time for a very special episode tonight. We are about to be joined here any minute now by author and show host George Lunsford. He's got a new book coming out, and he's just got a lot to talk about, and I cannot wait to dig in because it's right up my alley. I'm not, you
like that type of stuff, do you?
I'm
your guy.
It intrigues me. It intrigues me is the
right.
thing, and I have a bunch of questions for him because I don't understand a lot of the things that he and just because I don't know, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's one of those things. It's like the mysteries of the world. So, Alan, if you could bring him in at any point, that would be great.
All right,
George, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And thank you very much for coming on. Again, this is George Lunsford. He is an author and show host, and he has a new book called Legends, Myths, Monsters, and Ghosts, the USA edition, about to drop in November, perfectly timed, right after everybody gets the crap scared of them out of Halloween. And they get to find out everything that they didn't see. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I have to ask, first of all, I looked you up, of course, and I'm very interested. You have a very varied career. It sounds like you've done everything. You're a podcast host, you're an actor, you're obviously a writer, and about a million things in between. And you must keep pretty busy.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm glad we were able to at least get you sitting on the couch tonight. I know probably every other night you're running around like a crazy person, it sounds like. But
I got 5 grandkids. So
5 grandkids?
Oh my goodness.
Fred and I have kids. We have 3 each. And I don't know how you can.
But see, with grandkids, you get to give them back.
Yeah, you get to shut it down.
Yeah.
That's
all right,
true.
That's enough. Come get your kids now.
That's what their grandma's been
doing. Yeah.
That's what their grandma.
The grandkids are so much more fun than your regular children. Regular children are fantastic. I love my kids.
Sure.
But grandkids are so much easier.
Yeah.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Yeah.
Some days these kids just want to,
They got all the love for grandma and grandpa. I tell you.
That's
that.
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the safe. That was a safe haven for us when we were growing up. Oh, and all the money. Yeah.
Right.
So I have to ask you, George, just off the top of my head, I like I said, I looked at your book, I looked at the trailer for your book and everything, and I have a question. And again, we're a comedy podcast, so this is not necessarily in our range, but we kind of do everything. Like I say, we're a comedy, but we're not that funny. So we try to do a little bit of everything, just to keep it light and keep it fresh for the kids,
right?
Not our kids who can't listen. But I have to know, what exactly is a cryptid? Is that
a cryptid is a undiscovered creature?
Okay.
The science is not recognized yet.
Gotcha. Okay. I again, we're trying to, we're part of this is we're here to educate people,
right,
stuff. And that's something that, and honestly, educate ourselves, because most of the time we go into everything and we're like, we don't know what the hell we're talking about. So it's just, you know, it's always nice to learn something. See, look at that. The more you know, Fred. Alan, can you
The
put
more
that
you know,
graphic,
the more you grow.
You need the little star, like
The little rainbow.
yeah. But so George, so you're like I said, your new book's coming out in November, Legends, Myth, Monsters, and Ghost, the USA edition. My question to you is, how did you get into writing? It looks like, again, you've done everything. You were a maintenance man. You made explosives for the government. Like I said, I saw one of your commercials, a couple of your music videos you were in. I tried to watch some of the movies you were in, but I couldn't find them online. So that's going to be one of my questions later on is where can I watch these? But for now, what got you into what seems to be like your passion right now, which is writing?
I just decided about 5 years ago, I wanted to write, so I started writing.
There you go. Just pick the pen. Pick the pen up.
Moods and whatever the mood is at the time. Like when I went into acting, I was like, well, I'm going to be an actor. So I started, and I found a bunch of independent films and shorts and what I did. I've background people for Hallmark movies. I've done all kinds of stuff like that. I wrote scripts. I've done all kinds of different scripts and stuff. And then I said, okay, I'm going to write books. So that's what I started.
Yeah. In the meantime, in between all that, you raise kids and now you're raising grandkids. I can't imagine. How, like I said, man, this is probably probably the first time you sat on a couch in 5 years. That's what it sounds like.
That's great.
Yeah, trust me. I'm with you on that. Good idea. Love you. Sorry, speaking of.
That's cool though, man. Like, so in the book, you're speaking of like monsters, creatures. Are you just giving like origin stories and telling like more background on the creatures?
Well, the stories in this book is basically, you remember when you was young and your grandparents used to tell you stories about your area?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the ghost train or somebody over here hung themselves, their ghost is over there, or
right.
Because, you know, there's bad things. Well, my grandparents did that for me, and that's what I wanted to do with this book, is to pass down stories. That's why there's like, 5 to 8 stories per state, every state.
Wow.
Okay.
Of course, I did Asheville, North Carolina, because that's where I'm at. So
right. You're in Asheville. Is that what you said? I knew you were in Western North Carolina. So we're out. Yeah. We're just down the road, like I said, in Greenville, or right outside of Greenville. So we know we have some of those same stories. Now I've been to Asheville and I've done the ghost tour. My wife and I did it because my wife is a big like true crime, ghost junkie, potential murderer. I'm not gonna lie. Don't if she's ever under trial, I would have to delete this episode. But so we definitely did it, and I know that area, man. There's a lot of lore. Like, I mean, we went visited. Like, was it the compass? Like the big compass on the ground in front of the big tower in Asheville, where they said,
the suicide.
Where like the person jumped off and all that.
Right.
Like,
they aimed for the center of the
right. Well, why would you not? It's a target. It's a huge target. Right. But I can definitely. I'm interested. I really am interested. Once the book comes out, I'm definitely have to read it because I'm into it, and it sounds like, especially like I said, in our area. You know, I'm from. Well, my family's from Charleston, so we had a bunch of. They would always tell me the stories from down there. You know, the Gray Man and all the other stuff and just basically any way they could to scare me into going to bed.
You heard about the boo hag down there then, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid. Yeah.
The boo hag's in my book.
Oh, really?
The county prison, the county jail is in the book.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Well, is the lizard man in your book?
Oh yeah.
I was about to say that. I always heard about like
he knows where his bread is buttered.
Heard about the lizard man. You know what I mean?
Well, my buddy from West Virginia called me up and says, "Okay, you're done this. You better have the Mothman in your book."
The Mothman, the Mothman coming.
Your wife will love it. Will like the book because I put in the story H.H. Hoogley up in H.H. Holmes. Excuse me, up in Chicago. You know about
No, please enlighten us.
Refresh my memory.
He was a serial killer. He was one of the first serial killers. And he built a hotel to kill people.
Oh, I think I heard that. I think my wife was telling me something about, like, yeah.
He built he had 5 different contractors building this hotel, and he would in gas lines underneath beds, and they had drop away floors. It had slides in the basement, and he would get these people down the basement. He'd do weird surgeries and stuff on them.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
That was like right around the turn of the century, right? Like in the early 1900s.
When Chicago had the World's Fair.
Okay, so yeah,
36. I think it's 36, 34, something like that.
Wow, I'm shocked at your World's Fair knowledge, Fred. I was not expecting that. Just gonna be honest.
So I also like the part about the Valentine massacre up there, the Valentine's Day massacre.
Right.
The bricks, that wall where they got killed at, are haunted.
Oh, really?
Really?
Wow.
Really?
I don't like that. I don't like the idea of a haunted bridge.
Yeah.
That's too scary. Like there's a haunted bridge down here where we are, and it's too much. It's too scary.
Oh, the covered bridge?
Yeah, I don't go there.
Oh, no, it's Bob.
That's one of them. There's a bunch
There's
of
one, the Crybaby Bridge.
Yeah, Crybaby Bridge.
Yeah, I've been to that. I've been to that in the middle of the night, and I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's because you were too busy. You were crying, so you were like, I don't hear anybody crying.
Well, we lived in a haunted house, so you know.
Right. That's true. Yeah. So when we were, Alan and I were former roommates, and when in our younger days, and we lived in a house that was very, very, very haunted, and nothing like nefarious or anything. We think apparently there was like a 13-year-old girl. We lived in a mill house. And she apparently somehow or another ended up getting murdered on like our front steps. It was her house. And so throughout we lived there for 7 years, give or take.
Yeah.
And we would hear all the time people walking up and down the stairs, doors closing. I mean, and like nobody's home. Nobody's home. Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing, Fred. At
we
first,
heard you
it was
scream
like,
once.
Yeah, at first it was very scary. And then the ghost and I were able to kind of work it out. Like we worked out a deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you don't murder me in my sleep, I won't exercise you. We won't call a priest. We'll just call it even. And if we leave food out, you can eat it. It was like, and that worked out well for a while there.
Yeah. The poor ghost starved to death.
Yeah, I know, right? There was never any food out. It's probably why she kept haunting us, because we was like, they said they'd leave me a snack and they never do. But so out of all the, again, you've written about, you're in all 50 states. What's the one or two, I guess, best stories that stand out to you? Yeah.
Let's see. One of my favorites is Robert the Doll down in Key West.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah,
I love that story. That's just a story.
Robert the Doll.
Yeah, you never heard Robert the Doll?
No, I haven't heard that one. No.
I'll give you the 60,000 version of it. 60,000 foot. Little boy was they had moved to Key West. His family did, and they were pretty affluent people. And he was outside, and his nanny was outside with him. His little boy's name was Gene. And for something happened, the mother seen the nanny cutting his hair. So she freaked out. She jumped all over the nanny and just chewed her out and just threatened her and everything else. Where her husband come home, and they had the nanny come in, and he fired her. Well, before he fired her, she took and made a doll, little small doll, and she gave it to Gene, and it had his hair and everything. Well, she got fired, and when she left, they didn't know, but she actually bonded the doll with Gene. So he named the doll Robert. Well, his mama was walking through one day, and had little kids that sit there and talk back and forth and stuff to their boys or whatever. Well, he was talking to Robert the doll, but then she heard a voice she'd never heard before speak back to the boy. And
I don't like that.
And there he was with his doll, and it freaked her out. Things went on, things kept happening, bad things and everything else. So they finally took the doll away from Gene. They put it in a box, they bound it with twine, put it up in the attic. They went to bed that night, and they could hear noise. And the dad got mad. He thought, Gene went up there to get the doll, and he got up and Gene was in the bed, but they still heard footsteps in the cell up in the attic, moving back and forth. He gets up there, opens the door, and walks in the attic. The box is laying on the side. The twine's all gone. The box is open, and the doll's sitting in the corner.
Oh, hell no.
Nope.
Well,
So
they finally get him away from the doll. He goes off and he goes to college and everything else over in France. He's a big architect. No, he's a painter. Excuse me. He becomes a big famous painter, and he comes back home because his dad died. And his mama looks like she's freaked out all the time. Her hair's messed up and she rocks.
Yeah.
Well, he comes in with his new wife, and his mama goes, "Don't let him get to it. Don't let him have it." And the woman's like, "What's wrong with you, old woman?"
Yeah.
He finds the doll again. And from then on till he's dead, the doll's with him every moment.
Wow.
Really?
They had a big corner of the house that had like a round dome type with windows. He'd sit up there and do his paintings and everything else. Well, after he died, and the woman finally, she ended up leaving too because the doll was driving her crazy because of different things. But people would walk by and they'd see the doll up in the window and move.
Oh.
Finally, because he was rich, they put the doll in the museum down there. It's in the museum down there in Key West.
I've seen it. It's a creepy looking doll, man.
Really?
And the first night it was there, they had it set up on this little pedestal, had a glass thing over top of it and everything else. Well, the curator was the last one out. Everything was fine. And then the cleaner come in. He come back the next day. The top was on the ground, and there was little footprints. And he thinks the curator's going, why did she mess with the doll? He's thinking the house cleaner did it.
Yeah.
He chews her out, right? Well, that night he decides to stay and see what happens. So they put the doll back in and fills everything back up. And he's there with the house cleaner. And they're the last two people in there, and they both leave at the same time. Comes back and the same thing will happen.
Oh.
I don't like that. See, so now I just gotta let you know, George.
Nope.
You're only about an hour away from us. I might be sleeping on your couch tonight if you tell these scary ass stories. I don't have it in me like I used to, man. I'm telling you, dude. I need somebody to know.
Robert the doll, man.
The ghosts don't bother me. I'm used to ghosts. I can handle ghosts no problem. I can handle UFOs fine. I've seen two of those. I've seen ghosts. I've dealt with the ghosts and stuff. But none of that's a big deal anymore. I want to see a cryptid. I want Bigfoot to walk up to me.
Well, that was one of my questions because we're Sasquatch is a longtime friend of the show. We've tried to get him on a million times. He's really hard to get a hold of. Doesn't have cell phone reception out in the woods. But we were talking to some buddies of ours, Conrad and Shannon from Oklahoma, 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, or 3 weeks ago. And we had just read a story out of the area in Oklahoma where a gentleman had murdered his friend because he thought his friend was summoning Sasquatch. They were out fishing, and I guess his friend was screwing with him and said something about somehow or another got it in his head that he was summoning Sasquatch. So the guy murdered him. And apparently that's out that way in Oklahoma. Sasquatch is a big deal, man. They have a lot of tourist, I guess, destinations. I want to call them tourist traps, but tourist destinations, all dedicated to Sasquatch or Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
And actually, that's the question I have for you. And I'm sure you being you're already. I can tell you this: you know more about them than any of us do. But is Bigfoot and Sasquatch? Is that the same thing? Is Bigfoot a Sasquatch? He's just called Bigfoot, or are they separate things? I don't know. And again, that's why we wanted to get you on.
Well, Sasquatch was the name given to him a long time before Bigfoot come along.
Okay.
So Bigfoot was given by a newspaper reporter. When they found, I think it was in the 50s, they found the long line of footprints.
Right.
He poured the cast and brought it down there, and that's how they got the name Bigfoot. Okay. And that was right before the Patterson-Gimli film.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So I wasn't sure. Like I said, I've always known him. Obviously everybody knows Bigfoot. But I've always known him as like a Sasquatch or just Sasquatch. Yeah. It's just, and I guess, Bigfoot's just a term of endearment for him.
Oh, he's got tons of names. Depends on where you're looking at, because there's reports of Bigfoot in every country around the world. A Bigfoot
type. Yeah,
like the Yeti. The
Yeti, or there's just tons and tons of different names.
Right.
Kookaloo. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Right. That's all. So I love that. But see, that proves to me that he's real. Dang it.
Well, see, what I believe he is kind of coincides with that because there is also reports of giants in every country of the world.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thinking Bigfoot's an ancestor, or the giants are the ancestor to the Bigfoot. I say,
Right.
Makes sense.
Well, when the Indians come across, the bridge at Bering Straits, when they come across, most of the tribes, when they come across, reported the what they call either the white-eyed giant or the red-headed giants here in America, and they all run into those before anything else. So they were here before the Indians were.
Right.
They were considered cannibals, and they would attack the Indians, the small groups of Indians, and they eat them.
Damn.
And they found proof of that over in the Lovelock Caves, and they found a shoe that one of the giants wore, one of the sandals. They took a big casting and put it in. It fit perfect.
Ah, see, look at that, Fred.
Look, he's real.
You didn't know.
He's out there.
He's just waiting. He might be right behind you, Fred. Look out. I hope he is. Fred lives out in the country, so he could have a couple Sasquatches out there,
Yeah.
If you do, let me know. I want to come there to see them.
Oh, yeah. We got to figure out. See, that's the thing. If you find him, Fred, stick a mic in his face. Get him to do a promo for the show, please.
Just interview him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Foot. Just a couple questions, please.
Mr. Quatch.
Yeah, Mr. Quatch.
Because he wouldn't know you were calling him big. He probably doesn't watch TV or whatever. Sasquatch is going to be, I assume.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Oh no, that's poor Bigfoot. So let me ask you another question about Alan, our buddy Alan here. He's a native of Puerto Rico. Now, obviously, he's lived here in the States for quite a while, but he's been telling us for as long as I've known him, he's always talking about the Bermuda Triangle because I guess that's I don't know if he flew through it or flew over.
Yeah, you fly. Yeah, every time we fly
through
it. Yeah, because one of the corners of the Bermuda Triangle is Puerto Rico.
Yes, it is.
So every time we flew through the States, when you're in the middle, you always get bad turbulence. Always.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, what plane you're in or something. I never really thought of it, until, because we just fly.
Yeah.
But and then when I moved to the States, then you hear all the stories and it's like, oh, okay, it kind of makes sense.
Man, I'd be pissed as hell if we was on the flight and the pilot came over and was like, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're flying through the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, no, why'd you say that? Yeah.
Freaking me out, man.
This is the end.
Yeah, but it was always halfway through the flight, man, and you always see the seatbelt sign turn on and the plane just shakes.
Really?
Then it goes away.
God. Please don't let me fly into another dimension.
I was in the Navy, so we was there all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really.
So do you have any cool spooky or maybe hopefully not as spooky so that I don't wet my pants or anything stories about
we had one really interesting experience. I was on an AF lookout. We were out there and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. The water was just as smooth as glass. And it was just a nice day out there, probably about maybe 80 degrees, the wind blowing, just nice and comfortable. And I was on that lookout. The forward lookout said, "What is this?" So I went over to the edge and looked up, and all you could see on the horizon was this little spot. It was dark gray or black, depending on which way the sun hit it. Well, as we got closer to it, it kept getting bigger and bigger till when we got right up, probably within, I don't know, a mile, you couldn't see the end of it anyway. It was on both sides, all the way as far as you could see down the water.
Jeez.
Well, we started crossing into it. And as the ship went into the fog, all the compasses and everything started spinning, all the electronics shut off. And as the ship come out the other side of it, it wasn't very thick. As the ship come out the other side, everything come back online. But when you're in the fog, the hair on your arm would stand up and it felt like electrical charge in the air.
Wow.
And even the sound-powered phones wouldn't work. Nothing would till you come out the other side of it. And when we come out the other side, it was choppy and kind of rainy and a little nasty. Well, we come out and everything come back on. I looked back because I was on that lookout and there was no longer a fog bank.
So it took off. It checked you guys out and took off, huh?
Yep, I guess.
Man, that's crazy, dude.
Crazy, man. So You think it was like aliens, like with some kind of like stealth technology or something?
I'm thinking probably it's a magnetic fog bank.
Really? Yeah.
That would
That's
explain
crazy.
why people have problems in there, because any kind of magnetics, you lose everything as far as
Right.
navigation goes and everything.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense because I mean, there's always planes that are down, ships that get lost. I mean,
Right. I remember like there was a squadron of planes that got lost like back in the 40s or something like that. Got lost in the
Never
Bermuda
happened.
Triangle. Yeah.
They never found him.
I remember when I was a
found-
kid, I thought the Bermuda Triangle was going to be a big part of my life.
Yeah.
I was real worried about. I don't know why I had it in my head that I was like, that Bermuda Triangle's out to get me, man.
That and quicksand.
Yeah,
I thought I
quicksand was
gonna
another
fight
thing. Yeah, all the
quicksand
time.
every day, man.
Every day I
Others,
felt like,
there's other triangles, right?
Say what?
Yeah,
You
the
know
other
there's
ones.
other triangles,
Yes.
right?
are there? Oh no, I didn't
Yes.
know that.
No.
Shit, I
You
hope we're
got
not
the
one.
Alaskan Triangle. You
Alaskan?
got the Bridgewater Triangle.
Uh-huh.
Dragon Triangle over towards Japan. I don't know about those. I know there's more than that, but I can't remember any others.
Really?
I didn't even know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, now I'm scared of the whole world things.
Do what?
Now I'm worried about the whole world in their triangles now. I thought it was just down there where Alan lived.
More people have gone up missing in the Alaskan Triangle than in the Bermuda Triangle.
Really?
Really? See, look at that.
Damn.
Alaska's done a good job of PR and not letting that get out.
Yeah.
So they do a cruise. My wife did a cruise up to Alaska a couple years ago, and they didn't say a
yeah.
daggum thing about any Alaskan triangle. That's awesome, man. So, so you have, I would say, obviously, you have stuff about Alaska in your book as well. Is there?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, okay, so I'm not supposed to say anything about this. And again, if thankfully, my wife doesn't really listen to the show, but she has a very real fear, and this isn't Alaska, but I feel like there's some really wacky stuff that goes on. Like, there's got to be some crazy, like, ghost stories and stuff from Alaska. But my wife is deathly afraid of skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers.
I know that's more like Mexico, Texas, yeah.
And stuff like that with the Utes and that Indian tribes and stuff.
She's deathly afraid. We went to Vegas. The three of us went to Vegas in 2021, beginning of 2021. And like the whole time, like for weeks leading up to it, she was like, whatever you do, just don't go out in the desert at night. Don't say anything. Don't say the word skinwalker. Don't talk to any Indians about it. Don't speak that shit into existence. Like, and she was real serious. Like, you're a married man, or and when you're like, you can goof around with your wife to an extent, but there's a look that they get when they're like,
"Oh yeah,
not do that." Like, and by the time I got on that plane, I was like, I can't say anything about it. If something comes up, I can't even pretend like I have to play ignorant. And she would ask me, like, she called me, like I said, while we were on the trip, and she'd be like, "Did y'all go in the desert today?" And I'm like, "No, we didn't go out in the desert." And she's like, "Well, if you do, don't say that word." And like, over and over. So I don't know if that's in your book or not, but if it is, I'm gonna have to like tear that chapter out so she can't read it.
It's Skinwalker Ranch is in the book, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a whole ranch. Like I heard a little bit about that. Like there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on weird out there at night. Skinwalker Ranch.
Tons and tons of it, yeah. His name Bigelow had he had a government study going on out there trying to research and find out everything that was going on. He has a room full of files that nobody gets to see.
That's crazy. It's all top secret. See, why don't they tell anybody about this, man? I mean,
Because they don't want you being scared to go to the desert and go like you wouldn't go to Alaska, Fred, if you knew there were freaking Alaska triangles trying to get you all the time and zombie Eskimos and shit.
Zombie Eskimos.
I don't know. That could be real. I mean, do you want to know, Fred? That's the thing is like, there's a part of me that just doesn't. I know, because you're a curious guy like that.
It was back. I think it was back last year when the government released all these files about UFOs being real. Yeah, I mean, and like nobody paid any attention to it. It was like, what? Yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, like, no, this is documented files with pictures and everything, and everybody's like, I don't care.
Yeah, we used to see them all the time.
That's the way it went, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. This is the biggest news ever. We are not
yeah, and
blowing.
everybody was like, la, 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 la.
Whatever.
No
COVID.
big deal. Hey, that's how it is, though.
I got a cure for all that. Next year, I've got a book coming out, and I have had people sending me encounters that they've been having with different cryptid creatures from all over the world.
Really?
Like 16 or so right now.
See,
And 3 or 4 from London over in UK.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we just signed on for a promo deal with a radio station out in the UK. So in London, actually, today we signed on with them. So we'll definitely have to spread the word. And I know you're doing a podcast. I know you said you're about to revive your podcast and get it going again. Odd and Unusual Tales. Is that something you think you're going to kind of cover in there, like these individuals things, or are you just holding that for the book?
Oh, they're going to be all kinds of stuff on my podcast. I love doing weird things. Like one of my old podcasts was about, did you know that Napoleon was attacked by rabbits?
I did. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. Fred never ceases to amaze me with.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
It's a great story. It's hilarious.
Right. Yeah, it was like the War of Rabbits or something like that. They gathered
300 rabbits up because Napoleon wanted his men to go in and relax. So they went into this town. They gathered 300 wild rabbits and put them all in cages so they could have a rabbit hunt.
Okay.
Well, I all got out there, got ready to go on a rabbit hunt. They opened the cages. The rabbits attacked them.
Yeah.
Just like Monty Python.
That's
probably where they got it from.
That's probably where they got it from.
See, that was based in truth, Fred. You didn't know that. I didn't know that.
All comedy is based in truth, man.
That's true. Well, not ours, usually. But again, that's why
everything in the world is going to be on my podcast. Nothing is off. I don't like that. It makes me laugh. It's going on there.
There you go.
That's the kind of how we feel. We had some people tell us, oh, you need a genre, you need like a niche, or you're never going to be Joe Rogan-esque, and that's fine. But we decided our niche was just doing whatever the hell we wanted to do. So
I gotta say, you guys are a blast to do an interview with. I know that much. I'm having a ball.
Good. I'm glad, man. We're happy to hear that. That's that's honestly the best thing about
hospitality, sir.
That's right. He knows about it. He knows all too well.
Which you know all too well.
That's right. Well, so now, Fred, you messed me up. I can't think of what I was going to say. I was going to ask a question, and now I totally spaced on it. Damn it. No, don't do that. I can't remember. Oh yeah. So what I was going to say is that's one of the few things that Alan and his farts. Yeah. Again, George, this show is basically 4 13-year-olds, just making fart noises and laughing at each other's terrible jokes, and that's fine. We appreciate that, But no, that's actually been the one thing that we, one of the reasons we started the podcast is because we are here, we're here in the upstate of South Carolina, and we'd like to think, we'd like to reach worldwide, and so we're meeting all these new people, getting to kind of network, and actually that's been, I don't know about Fred or Alan, but for me that's been the most fun part. Is just talking to people that we would have never got to talk to otherwise. Right. We're enjoying it. Like I said, thankfully you're enjoying it so far. We'll see by the end of it. You may be like, I gotta go get these guys get these guys off my phone. But no, it's definitely been a blast. It's definitely one of those things where we just I'm so thankful that we were able to do this. And now again, I'm probably not gonna sleep tonight. But that's more on you, George, than on me. So now that I'm, like I said, I'm going to make the kids, I'm going to wake the kids up and be like, you guys cuddle with daddy. And my wife will probably pop in here any minute. Like, I heard you say the Skinwalker word. Why did you say that?
It'll be the one episode she does listen to is the Skinwalker.
I know, it's going to be this one. And so just as a reference, so my wife, a lovely wife, was on an episode because we decided at one point we were going to do crime because she wanted to do her thing. Like that's all she listens to is like crime podcasts and stuff like that. And again, that's why we aren't in it. We aren't on her list. But also she doesn't think I'm funny at all. That's part of being married as well. But so that's just how it goes. But so we did a crime episode, and I was like, honey, you gotta at least listen to that one. Like you're on it. And she was like, "No, I'm not going to listen to it."
She doesn't listen to her own work.
No, she doesn't. No. Well, that's part of her being. Fred had that theory for we're about almost 60 episodes in now, and for about the first 30, Fred was like, I don't.
No,
I didn't listen to none of them.
Busy.
You were busy. He was busy. He didn't have time.
I didn't have an hour. I did not
couldn't
have
spare an hour.
No.
Spare an hour to put up that damn Carolina Panthers thing behind you. Couldn't spare an hour for the podcast.
Go CMC all day.
Oh, here we go now.
No.
So yeah, are you a Panthers fan by chance?
I used to watch it. Yeah, I just like Panther.
We try not to talk sports.
sports.
Yeah, we try our best not to talk sports because Fred is terrible at sports.
I am. I talk.
So
It was like the ESPN commercial where like the guys were talking sports, and then the one guy turns around and he's like, he's doing the Jim Carrey with the butt. You know what I mean? He's talking sports out his ass. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's me right there.
that's it. That's Fred. It's very much.
Just regurgitate everything I see on TV.
That's true. So, out of all of the all the cryptids and all the stories that you've collected, what would you say is either your most interesting or your favorite, like that you've like learned about, or obviously written about?
Oh wow, I don't know.
I know that's a hard question. I tend to play hardball with our guests. I always ask questions that are like, "Why the hell would you ask me that question?"
Matt coming with the thunder.
But I know it's a hard question.
There's so many cool ones. I mean, you got the Mothman, which was also the Blackbird of Chernobyl. You heard about the Blackbird of Chernobyl?
Yeah.
They're the same creature. Then you've got all these different. It might have UFOs in the books and everything. So you got all the UFO sightings, and you got all these different cryptids. You got some that fly, some that get you in the water, some that comes up on.
The water
shower or
ones.
anything.
They talk about those a lot in Puerto Rico. The water ones.
Oh, yeah. Puerto Rico's just awesome ones.
Yeah,
That's
up
what
in the
talking
rainforest.
about.
Yeah, in the rainforest and all that, you get to see them.
Oh
Yeah.
You got like the giant snakes and stuff down there, which I don't do snakes, but
Yeah.
But
you telling
you a
me
story.
Anaconda was a documentary?
I'm going to tell you a story about a snake, so you can be as scared as I am.
I mean anything but snakes. I anything else I can deal with.
Yeah.
I'll fight Bigfoot before I'll fight a snake. Okay.
I'm with you on that.
What about
Snakes-
Bigfoot with the snake?
Okay, he wins automatically.
He's just winging at the snake.
You're like, my one weakness. No. That's awesome. So yeah, I just think it's so cool though. Like I said, it's mind-boggling to me that again, I'm like, I'm like 6'5", big old guy. And like this stuff's kind of scares me though, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's times where I'm like, I don't want to know those stories about that stuff,
See, that's because that's what happens. Like your car breaks down on a dark road, and that's the first thing that's gonna come to your mind.
That's exactly Bigfoot running down the road, whipping a rattlesnake at me. The first thing that's gonna pop into my head, holding that damn creepy ass doll. I'll be like, Robert, don't let them throw that snake at me. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, so George, do you know? Do you have I know November, but do you know where will we be able to purchase your book? Through your website or?
It'll be on all the major book things because I actually have a real publisher now.
Cool.
So
we don't.
The publisher's called Beyond the Prey. So
awesome.
Anyway,
you send us. Let me know when it comes out. We'll make sure to blast it on all of our social media and drop it on the show as well. Get to as many, And again, I know I'm going to purchase a copy for sure. I can't wait to read it and then to wish I had not read it.
there's great. There's stories that are not scary. There's some really fun stuff in there.
I'll read those. I'll let my kids read the scary ones. I'll read the happy.
My grandkids read my original books. See,
okay.
The first four, I did 4 books called Legends, Myths, Monsters, and Ghosts.
Right.
I broke the whole state, the whole country, down into 4 regions, and I wrote the stories. Well, I was with an independent publisher, so we didn't have a lot of distribution. I was on like Amazon and everything, but it was only mail order.
Right.
When I joined this group, they said, hey, let's take all your books and put them into one. I said, okay, but if we do that, I'm going to add more stories. I added over 100 more stories to them.
Wow.
Added the Hopi Indians, and I added the Shoshone Indians. the Hopi has some really interesting stories, and I'm putting 3 of those in there, and they're really long. One story is like a page and a half. So
okay.
they're really long-winded, but they're fun. They're
Right.
And so I'm adding Shoshone this weekend, and then my theory of Bigfoot's in there, which I'm not a scientist, but common sense, I figured things out. So it'll be in there.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more than just the states. I added a few more things in there just to give people something to read.
Well, yeah, and keep, like you said, if you got an interesting story to tell, you got to tell it. I mean, you got to get it out.
Yeah.
That's something, I used to play around as a writer in my younger days, and sometimes you're just like, man, I got to get this out of me. Like, I have to tell this story. I can't keep it inside. Other people need to read it.
Let me run my mouth too, so
Well,
I can't.
I feel you on that too. So Alan's the only one of us who doesn't like to talk.
All right.
Why? Yeah.
But he does that.
I got nothing to say.
He's the sponge of our show. He just absorbs everything, and then in about 6 episodes, he'll reference something that you said.
Yeah. But I do have UFO stories because we've seen a bunch of them.
Yes, you have done in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we saw one it was on New Year's Eve. I'm going to tell this story. I can't believe.
Yeah, tell the story, man. Come on.
Right, it was on New Year's Eve, and I was drinking the bubbly, and and it was right after midnight, and in Puerto Rico the street lights are made out of concrete, and they're like kind of tall. Yeah, they're made out of concrete, and everybody was having a good time, and then it got real quiet, and everybody was looking up. There was this ball, and it was a color. You can't explain what the color was, and it just hovered, and it hovered on top of it, and it just moved around, and it was just stayed there. And and of course, I'm 15 years old. I'm like, beat me up, Scotty. Yeah, and I went under it, and you could see the different colors and stuff. And then it went up. It moved backwards a little bit, went forward, and then it went straight. But it didn't go like straight up. It went like an L. It went straight up, and it just disappeared. And it was cool. And it was about 20 of us that saw it. So it was like, we all talked about the next day, and then about a couple of weeks later, we were like, man, we ain't gonna talk about that no more.
Just in case.
Yeah. But you would look up in the beach, and you would look at in the sky, and you would see the stars would just move. Sometimes they would just move. Yeah. And they would
that's awesome.
And people would see, I never saw it, but people would see in the ocean, they'd say they see lights in the ocean at night. Like if you look far away, actually around Roosevelt Roads and all that, where the naval base was, and everybody thought it was just the government doing experiments of submarines. Yeah. Because they always told us that they didn't have no submarines coming into Puerto Rico, and that's what people said. There were submarines, but they always talked about that was right in by the naval base. You could see the water and the lights and all that. It was. Everybody saw it. Anybody that's lived on the island has seen the UFO.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I love stuff like that. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It was.
See now, Alan. Now when you get your podcast going, we'll get Alan on there. He won't talk the whole time.
No, it'll be 30 minutes of silence, and this is what you hear: 30 minutes of silence, and
if he does, if by chance we end up on your podcast or anything like that, make sure he's not allowed to do that. So last night we had a meeting. Here it comes. I knew it. Last night we had this meeting, and then that thing got pulled out. It just totally ruined everything. All right, enough with that. Get it out of here. Oh my goodness. This is what happens. See, this is why we can't ever do anything serious.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Right. This is why we don't have nice things. Alan spends all the show's money on fart guns. That's all he ever buys.
Should be one for my show. That's all there is to it.
There you go.
We'll ship you one for sure. Well, again, George, this is George Lunsford, author, podcaster, actor, and everything enthusiast that I've seen so far, and all around awesome guy. George, is there anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
Nah, I appreciate if everybody check my books out. I'd really like everybody check my podcast out. It starts Monday.
Okay, great.
And I got a bunch of old shows from my old podcast. And just, live life and enjoy.
Live life before the Sasquatch comes and gets you.
Yep.
Well, George, thank you so much for your time. This has been an awesome pleasure, and just an honor for us to have you on the show. We would love to have you back on after your book is released. If you're willing to. I know I don't want to spoil the book for anybody, but we'd love to have you on, and maybe you could tell us a couple of stories, or read us a couple excerpts or something, and just scared the shit out of me. Really, is what I'm aiming for. If I'm being honest. But thank you guys again. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll be in touch soon, and we'll make sure that we broadcast everything about the book and about your podcast on all of our social media and everything like that. And we'll get you on soon for sure.
Yes,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, George. Have a great night. It was nice to meet you. All right, we're gonna go to a quick break. We'll be right back with the Black Lincoln Collective podcast.
The Black Lincoln Collective podcast will return after a word from our sponsors.
Are you a fan of sketch comedy like Monty Python, Key and Peele, and Saturday Night Live? Have you ever wondered why their sketches are funny? Or maybe why that certain sketch didn't make you laugh? On the comedy podcast Sketch Nerds, we aim to answer those questions while having fun talking about the history and craft of sketch comedy. Every episode features a guest to help us break down our favorite sketches, as well as those submitted by listeners like you. So come nerd out with us and listen to Sketch Nerds at badmedicinecomedy.com/sketchnerds.
You're listening to the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast.
Welcome back to the second half of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast, episode number 58. I was going to say issue number 58, and that doesn't really make sense. So episode number 58, it was so cool to talk to author, podcaster, actor, everything in the world together. George Lunsford, definitely check out his book. I am seriously crapping my pants with excitement and fear. That's a little bit of both.
He's got an IMDb page.
He does. No, I'm telling you, dude. I didn't get to him. Next time he comes on, I want to watch some of his movies that he was in. Right. And I tried to find them, and I couldn't find them online. So that's going to be the hunt. It'll be the hunt for George Lunsford.
The hunt. The hunt for George Lunsford. I love it.
We got to, maybe that'll be the name. He'll like it because then it'll be like his movies are the cryptid to us.
That falls right in line with his
He loves it. Yeah, he's going to love it. I can't wait. Yeah. We're definitely going to have him back. Probably around what's that holiday? Christmas? Halloween time, All Hallows Eve, to scare the shit out of everybody on a Halloween Monday morning. It's going to be great. I can't wait. So we're now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for one of America's favorite segments.
What is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, if Alan starts the music, it'll be time for Fredline News.
Fredline News.
First Fredline, Fred.
First Fredline. Alaskan man broke his own state record by bringing a pumpkin to the Alaska State Fair. Pumpkin weighed 2,147 pounds. He named the pumpkin Donald Trump.
We don't get political on this.
It was a beautiful pumpkin.
It was the big, best big pumpkiniest.
This pumpkin has
2,000 pounds, though? A ton?
2,000.
Over a ton?
Yeah, man.
That's a lot of pumpkin.
That's a lot of pumpkin.
It fell short of the world record, the Guinness World Record, 2,700 pounds.
Ooh. How does a pumpkin get that big?
And why would you grow that? Like, are you trying to sell the spice to Starbucks or something?
Maybe you're trying to build a house and it's cheaper to have a 2,000 pound fucking pumpkin than it is to buy a house nowadays.
Peter? Peter, is that you?
Yeah, well, there was a lady who lived in a pumpkin, right? And that might be a real story. Now I'm thinking about it. We should have asked George about that because that may have been like a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
And then like people just used to live in fucking pumpkins, and then they made up a story about it. Maybe it's in his book.
It was a pumpkin.
There was another man. There's another man in Arkansas. He set the world record for traveling down. I forget what river it was in a hollowed out pumpkin.
Mississippi.
It might have been Mississippi. Yeah, it might have been.
That's near
Mississippi.
Arkansas.
Yeah, and in a hollowed out pumpkin.
See, look at that. Fall's just around the corner, y'all.
There it comes.
Fred's all pumpkined up. He's already pumpkin spiced this fucking show.
I'm about to spread my pumpkin spice all over you.
The PSF, pumpkin spice Freddy.
Sprinkle it. I'm gonna sprinkle it on you.
Sprinkle a little pumpkin spice on him. So, all right, Fredline number 2.
Number 2, I'm gonna keep in the
pumpkin.
I'm gonna keep in the world of vegetables. Another man set a world record for the longest cucumber.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
Fred's gardening news.
I mean, we already know what we're sponsored by.
I know. Yeah. Here we go. The sponsor probably threw this one in. Don't forget, Fredline News is sponsored by Bang Bros.
The cucumber, the massive
Want to see the world's longest cucumber? Bangbros.com. All right, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
3 feet 8 inches long. 3 feet 8 inches long. Imagine that. The guy, when asked about how did he feel about the feet, he's like, it's okay. But his wife is ecstatic.
That's Fred's first good joke. This is his first good punchline. Fredline News. That was a good one. That was funny. That is. Okay. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you.
Fredline News bit number 3.
Oh my God.
He's still laughing about the joke he made, Alan.
No, my computer won't load.
Just make some story about some fucking okra or bell peppers.
Oh my God. Miller High Life introduces an ice cream that tastes like a dive bar.
Like a what?
Dive bar.
A dive bar.
I assume like a Miller High Life.
Like a Miller, yeah. The champagne appears. Partner with Tipsy Scoop, the maker of alcohol-infused ice cream, to create the ice cream dive bar, which I think is a great name.
Oh, it's like a bar, like an ice cream bar.
Yeah.
Like not like ice cream, like a bar, like a can, like a
Dove bar, like a
like a bar,
yeah, like a pop, not a popsicle, but a bar, yeah. So
popsicles,
the product
cousin ice cream.
The product combines beer, peanut swirl. The peanut swirl is supposed to remind you of peanut shells that are frequently found on the floor.
Right.
Get this one, tobacco smoke flavor.
Oh, delicious. At least they know their audience.
Yeah, caramel and a chocolate dip.
To represent all the Latino and black people in the bar.
She tastes like cigarettes.
He tastes like cigarettes.
She tastes like cigarettes.
Yeah, he bit into it. It tastes like cigarettes.
Well, when is that going to be released, Fred? Because I would like to get each one of us one of those so that we can try it live on the
sadly, they do not give a release date. So maybe it's already out.
We'll have to keep an eye out for it.
A 6-pack is going to cost you around $36.
$36? Never mind. It's off the table. $36 for 6 ice cream bars?
$36 for 6 ice cream bars.
I'll just go to an actual bar.
If it's a dive bar, does it come with a hand job?
Exactly.
It's got a hole in the middle. Like
the handle of the bar. That's too funny. That is your best joke. I saw something about a nacho cheese flavored ice cream that they're offering in a place in Arkansas. And it has tortilla chunks in it. So it's nacho cheese. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Like, why would you do that? It's just like, I think we talked about it before. Those fucking nasty jelly beans, the like roulette jelly beans. Have we talked about those?
The black ones?
No, no, they're like Jelly Belly. You know Jelly Belly. The not a sponsor of the show. Maybe the first sponsor of the show is those nasty fucking jelly beans Jelly Belly makes. No, it's it's like jelly bean roulette. And like so you get like a pack.
Oh, so they mix
like,
up the colors?
Yeah, half of them are like it's like cherry or like baby's blood or some shit.
Yeah,
like, and I don't know, that one's not one, but I do know some of them because one time we were playing, and so like I actually really enjoy the popcorn Jelly Bellies. Kind of tastes like buttered popcorn. Those are delicious. Guess what? The evil version of that is, Fred.
What's that?
Spoiled milk. And guess what happens if you put that shit in your mouth, Fred? And you think it's one, but it's not. You pretty much throw up immediately because it tastes.
I thought you were gonna say like feet corn. Like,
no. That's spoiled milk. Feet. There's one that's vomit. There's one that tastes like vomit. Oh, it's disgusting, dude. And like the kids love them. And they just pick them up and eat them. And I'm like, I don't know. It's the cruelest game you could play with somebody. But I do feel like if I had remember people used to have like jelly beans, like a jar of jelly beans out, right? A tray of jelly beans when you go places. Oh, how funny would that be to put some of those shits in there? And like it's a 50-50. Like you just don't know. That's the best part about it. Is you don't know what's good either.
You don't know until you put it in your mouth.
No, and then it's like, oh, what was that? Were you asking me about your loan, Mr. Jorgensen? Blah, vomit on you. Terrible.
Mr. Jorgensen.
I don't know. That's a person.
Mr. Jorgensen.
So, Fredline News is sponsored also by Bang Bros and nasty ass ice cream and jelly beans. All your favorite things, kids.
Hey, but the ice cream bars are 5% alcohol.
Okay, well, that's probably why they're so expensive.
You're going to get a little, you're going to get your money's worth.
And will that be in the ice cream section or the booze section? Is there a frozen booze section? I don't know.
I don't know. They sell those like
frozen margaritas.
Well, those aren't frozen though. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. They're not pre-frozen.
They're not pre-frozen. So like I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna sell that.
They're disrupting the scene.
You're gonna put some of those in the ice cream thing at the convenience store.
That's what I'm saying. Go,
like, Ron, can I have a dive bar?
Go to your local bodega or probably liquor store.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll be able to get it. I wonder if that 5% alcohol in it. So is that like that's like the equivalent of drinking a beer? Then
sit right though. It wouldn't sit right. I mean,
nothing goes better with alcohol than dairy,
it depends on how much they weigh. So like I mean, a beer with 5% alcohol is what 12 ounces.
Well, so but that's volume.
If you got a 12, that's okay. Well, so what? Smarty ass.
I only want to say that because that's the one thing I do know is that's volume, not weight.
That's volume, not weight.
I'm smart. The beer tastes like cigarettes. Right, so that's my shame. My shame tastes like cigarettes.
Tastes like cigarettes.
That's safe. Just in case anyone doesn't know, because they're under the age of 30. That's
don't let them. Don't tell them where.
No, because I don't want to think we're making fun of someone with like Down syndrome or something. We're making fun of Forrest Gump.
He had Down syndrome.
He did not.
No, he did not.
He was running.
He was special.
If that dude had Down syndrome, honestly, he should be the poster boy for like the world. Because that dude did more shit in his life than I could ever hope to do.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody, dude.
So if anything, that should be an inspiring ass story for people with like special needs. Instead of just us making fun of it.
I had to look some of that shit up. And I was like, when it first came out, I was like,
he really scored touchdown for Alabama in the championship?
Yeah. I was
come on.
Really?
Did he really open a shrimp company?
Oh my goodness.
That's too funny.
Who's Forrest Gump now?
Right. Did he really win a gold medal in ping pong?
He's still cutting that football field.
He did. He kept on going too. He was running.
Stop. He retired with that old snapper. That old snapper long.
Yeah, it was that snapper. My daddy used to have one of them.
So what part specifically at any point did you think did you realize it was probably a little fabricated?
Or I did, but like I was like, okay, well, he could have met 3 presidents. There could have
Sure.
been a man out there that's met 3 presidents and
Sure.
done all this great stuff. Yeah, went to Vietnam, and I mean, it's
Have a
not
nice
that
day.
far fetched. Yeah, I mean,
It's not that far fetched, Fred.
No. So, what he invented, shit happens, you know.
Right. It's not that far fetched.
wait, why not? I guarantee you, the mug who did invent it, that have a nice day. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It happened some odd way. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna put a smile on a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, but
They
it was
made a
just
lot of
his
money.
face. I mean, he put it on his face, and when he got it down, it had a smiley face. Come on, he ain't Jeebus.
Did you do the same thing with Castaway where you're like, you really get the FedEx boxes?
hey, what? I mean, I didn't know.
That's
It
just how
could've
good
been
an
a
actor
true
Tom Hanks
story.
is.
He is. He's such a.
That's
great
the only
actor.
thing I didn't like about Castaway. They don't explain the ending.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
No,
He gets
He
uncast away.
left.
yeah.
His
Well, where did he
wife
go?
was married. She moved on.
But where did he go?
He went back to the island.
He went back to the. No, he went back
Welcome
to the chick.
island.
He
No, he
turned
didn't go-
around.
No, he didn't.
He didn't turn around. He turned around.
No, he didn't.
Don't turn
They-
around.
No,
Uh-oh.
they just show him just looking at it, and he's deciding if he's going to
Castaways
turn
in
around or
town.
not.
Uh-oh.
He went back.
No, he didn't go back.
He,
Remember?
he
He
felt
didn't
them
go
vibes.
So tweet the show,
He went to the Blue Oyster Bar.
twitter.com /BLC World or BLC Podcast and tell us how Castaway ends because none of us are going to watch that like 7-hour fucking movie again.
Nah, I watched
Sure.
that movie. That
Actually,
movie
I don't
was great,
remember.
man.
You would watch it again? Watch it this week, Fred.
I'll watch it again. Yeah.
Next
I'll
week
watch
on
it
next
right
week's
now.
show, I'm going to go ahead and
I'll
tease it,
watch
Fred,
it while I
because
do this show.
you're like, I'd rather watch it than do this show. As a matter of fact, that'd be the problem.
Watching it right
We'd be
now.
sitting here talking. You'd be like, well, don't do that, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Wilson, don't float
I
away.
minimized you guys, and now I'm watching
Don't float
Castaway.
away,
Like,
yeah. On full screen. I don't even see you guys.
yeah, full screen.
I shut down one. I turned my headphones down real low so I couldn't hear you talk either. I'm just gonna chime in. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Random, with the random comments.
Yeah, just talking about the fucking movie. Like Fred's here with his movie report, and you're like, I can't. Don't open that door, bitch. Don't open that door. No, don't open that door.
I told your ass not to open that
You
door.
shouldn't open that door. White people. So next week we are doing Alan's spot on timely movie review.
Yes. Movie review.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go ahead and watch this. I'm giving you time to watch this before next week's show.
Yep.
Alan, go ahead and tease them. Tell them what movie you'll be reviewing next week.
Snakes on a Train.
Snakes on a Train.
Yeah.
Starring no one that you've heard of.
No, it's on Pluto
Samuel
TV.
Flaxton.
That is true. You can watch it. The reason that we're doing it is because, yeah, exactly. It's Manuel S. Jackson. So Snakes on a Plane or Snakes on a Train, excuse me, is available on Pluto TV. So it's free. That's why it's also a book. So is Snakes on a Train based on the book Snakes on a Train?
God.
Because that's a book
a
and a
children's
movie.
book.
I'll
It's
review
a
the book.
children's book. It's a children's.
I'll review the book, and you can review the movie.
It's only like 12 pages.
It's like
book.
those snakes were on that train the whole time, and then they ate a snack.
Yeah.
It's the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Snakes on a Train features Albi Castro as Brujo, Julia Ruiz as Alma, Giovanni
Alma.
Barragano as Miguel.
Alma.
It wasn't
Que se Alma.
And
Yes, that's what he says.
Donde se Alma.
I can't wait to
Donde
watch
se
it. I haven't watched it, so we had to push it back. We were going to do it this week, but then we got the get of probably one of my favorite guests that we've had on so far. For those. So definitely check him out. But yes, so next week, Alan's in-depth movie review of Snakes on a Train. Let me give you a spoiler alert, guys. He's going to be like, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Hey, shut up.
I
No,
liked
you're ruining it.
I liked it.
Oh, wait.
Snakes on a Train. There it is. Look at that. What does it say? 100 trapped passengers, 3,000 venomous vipers. Get ready for that. So, Fred,
How many venomous vipers?
3,000.
It was more like 3.
No, it wasn't. It was like
One viper that we
30.
shot multiple different directions.
Yeah.
the CGI on it was awesome. I can't review it today.
No,
I
you
will
can't
do
review it tonight because I haven't seen it yet. So I don't want to. I want to make sure that I'm aware of it. We're going to talk about the cinematography, the music, the score. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
It's
So,
gonna
Fred,
be awesome.
do we have any other Fred lines for this week?
If we want to keep going,
Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
Fredline news in the history of Fredline
All
news.
right. August 23rd was National Cuban Sandwich Day. Now, Matt, I know you've had an issue with days being like named after stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with that because the Cuban sandwich is delicious.
Yes,
It is delicious. So, did you know how National Cuban Sandwich Day got its start?
On 8/23? No, I don't know. I really don't. No, I'm trying to think. That's what I was trying to think. Is it like something with a date? Are there 8 to 23 ingredients in a Cuban sandwich?
You would kind of like get a kick out of this because this is a reporter from the Tampa Bay Times.
Okay.
And he wanted to like conduct. My screen froze. But he wanted to conduct like an experiment. So he he was just like, I'm just gonna make up a day. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna make it up and send it to like all these food writers and other guys.
Yeah.
And like they ran with it. Like he made it like a Facebook page, a Twitter account for it, and like you just started spreading it around, and it caught on, and people were like, "Oh yeah."
See how it feels, Fred? See how it feels? It stops you in your tracks.
There you go. But August 23rd was National Sponge Cake Day.
Oh.
But he considered that to be a food of lesser importance.
Oh, absolutely.
He is right.
So,
yeah, absolutely. That man is a hero.
So it blew up and like everything was like great, but then like he told his editor about what he did, and the editor he made him write like a what do they call it, retraction? You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, I was just kidding, I just made it up, and so he had to like write that retraction and
That's
then
hilarious.
like email and write everybody else that, and he told him he invented the whole thing. And like, but he said he thought some people would be angry, but they
we don't give a fuck.
like,
we love National.
We love that shit. Keep it.
Yeah, like why would you? You can't take it away from us now.
Yeah.
Elian Gonzalez would have been like,
National Sandwich Day. Come on, man! I love that sandwich. So okay, another so you know how these some things share the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying so that day.
There's more than one thing. Sure.
Yeah, it's more than one thing. So here's a couple of things that also share the date with August 23rd. There's National Buttered Corn Day.
Okay, delicious, I guess.
Your Sweetheart Day is also August 23rd.
No.
Hold on, what's the other one?
That's where I draw the line.
Internet Day. I don't know what an internet. You know what internet is?
How you spell it?
INTERNUA.
That's stuff you put in your butt, it says.
Oh, okay. Well, National In Your Butt Day.
I don't know. I just made that up, but it probably is. Because an astronaut goes out into space, right?
Yeah. So this guy
Wouldn't
goes
an astronaut
into
go
space.
inside?
Inside
Oh,
space?
it's worse than that. You want to take a guess? You guys want to take a
Internet.
Alan just celebrated 3 internauts.
Internet.
So, do you guys
Those
want to
are
take
like
a
outer
guess?
knots.
Well, they are now. That's the problem with them. That's why you can only celebrate for one day. So, would you like to take a guess as to what an internaut is? I would tell you it's not something that goes in your butt.
Is it some kind of scientist?
You're gonna hate yourself because it's
No,
so stupid.
really. It
makes me think that this is the worst holiday. Other than if it weren't for National Cuban Sandwich Day, it would have ruined it. An internaut is a frequent or habitual user of the internet.
Oh my god!
Right,
you internatist.
That's terrible. More like inter-Nazis, if you ask me. I don't know. How that works.
August 23rd is also International Day for the remembrance of slave trade and its abolition.
Yeah, that's a good day.
So that's a terrible day to celebrate as well. So August 23rd, I think this guy really did a favor to August 23rd. Was like, I got to give you the sandwich. You got everything else that's been stacked against you.
Let's go get a Cuban and go to the National Civil Rights Museum.
and learn about the National Civil Rights Museum on our computers.
Yeah,
via
on
the
our
internet
computer.
while we eat buttered corn. But that's not racist at the National Civil Rights Museum.
Jeez.
Fucking August 23rd. Thank God for Cuban sandwiches. That's all.
Yes.
National
So that reminds me.
Okay.
What's that? No, go. What you say?
No, go. What does it remind you of?
No, I was saying that reminds me of the story that I read about I believe he was an Italian, a French. He's a French physicist. And he, we've talked previously briefly about the James Webb Telescope, right?
Right.
It's taking pictures of like the deepest portions of the galaxy and all this stuff. Well, a French physicist posted a slice of chorizo and said it was an image taken by the James Webb Telescope of a distant star. So I'm going to show you guys what it is because it's too funny not to see. So his followers realized something was up, and then he did it as a joke. So this is what he posted and said this was a distant star taken by the James Webb Telescope. Which, I mean, at first glance, okay, it kind of does look like a star, but then you're like, what's this little fatty section here? And but it just reminded me of that. I just had to show it to you guys because it's too funny. It was he posted on Twitter and then so then later the week, the renowned physicist and director of France's Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission, Etienne Klein, praised the depth of detail that it gave. 4.2 million or 4.2 light years away from us, it was taken. The level of detail was unveiled. He told he has 91,000 followers. And then people realized that it was a picture of chorizo on a black background. That's funny. So yeah, that just cracked me up because I was like, that's something an internaut would do for sure.
Yeah, internaut. See, but I love that though. I love the trolls, man. I mean,
I know you do, dude. You're one of them, man.
You pick that fake information out there, and people, and they just eat it up, man, without even checking it, man.
It's crazy. They do.
It's crazy.
And the more crazy it is, the more they're into it, and
the more they believe.
No sense to me, man. Yeah,
right.
But that's just how it is, man. That's it's the world we live in. Stupid internauts.
Right. Internauts.
Man, we're like outer knots. Get out our face.
Outer knot?
News.
Did you say outer knot?
So Fred, you got any more Fredline news? One more. All right, we're gonna do this one. We'll knock the show out, and we'll say goodnight to everybody.
I think we should all try this, man. So
all right, let's hear it. Well, before I say all right, let's hear it, and then I'll decide if we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it or not.
Yeah,
because you may have two cooked up. One's like a really good, we should all go out and try this new type of food. Or the other one's we should all go eat human feces and see what happens.
Well, if you hear the theme music, that's the one it was because we just cut it off.
That's right. All right, let's go. Fredline news number
whatever to do. 3-man break world record by visiting all 50 states in 5 days. A trio of travelers broke a world record with a whirlwind trip that took them to all 50 states in 5 days, 13 hours, and 10 minutes.
That's pretty fast.
Minutes. That's,
50 states is a lot of states, man.
Did he go, me, me?
Yeah,
it was 3 dudes. So it was
me, me.
So how do they do it? I guess they did whatever they had to do to get where they flew.
They started out in Vermont.
Okay.
And then they just
the rest.
They just drove it out. I mean,
they drove the whole way. They can obviously drive to Hawaii.
They didn't drive the whole way. It says they started out their journey by car before switching to air travel for their journey to Alaska and Hawaii.
Sure. Okay. So they drove the U.S. and then, but see, I can see that happening because 3 guys, you could theoretically drive 24 hours.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, but 50 states. That means they'd have to go. And Texas alone is 12 hours.
But
but you can go Texas.
You don't have to
click into the corner of Texas,
right? And then you could just get Oklahoma and then shoot over to Nevada.
Well, see, and that's my other question too. Is did they actually go to the state? Was it just we drove through 50 states? Or were they like,
visited.
hey,
That's all you had to do. That's all.
well,
it
dude,
said.
so just imagine. The
They
only thing I can
couldn't
think
have
of.
stayed. Let's go visit grandma.
I think you just got trolled, man. I think you got
that's
trolled.
fake news, man. Alan, we need a drop that says like with old Trumpy saying fake news or whatever.
Fake news.
Fake
We
news.
need to add that for Fred's fake news. Fred's
news.
fake Fredlines.
Fredline.
Fredline fake news. You should do that too. No, so just imagine though, like all that, and which is amazing. That's so cool. But then they're like, we got to fly to either Alaska and immediately jump on a plane back, or we have to fly to Hawaii. I would hope they ended in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's where I would end it at. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
would
going
end
to stay
it
there
at.
I'm going to sleep for.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like Alaska, I can be like,
Yeah.
all right, let's fly on out of here. There's fucking zombie yetis and shit.
Yeah.
And, like, I know that now. And then like to Hawaii, where there's probably fucking hula ghouls or some shit like that.
Zombie coconuts.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
Zombie
know.
coconut crabs.
I bet you
Coconut
they have
crabs
some
are scary though, dude. I
kick-ass
bet they're fucking
scary-
crazy.
Yeah, I bet you have some kick-ass scary stories about Hawaii. We should have asked them. We'll ask them next.
We will next time. That's why. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like people like the Indian stories, like that shit is creepy, man. Like those like American Indian stuff. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, that is some scary shit, man. I mean, that's just out there in the woods, in the desert, like all by yourself.
Right.
No, yeah, you know something's gonna happen out there. You know what I mean?
Says the man who drove through the desert to go to California.
I
They
did
did their
in the
thing.
daytime. In the daytime.
I mean, driving.
I came back at night. You know what I mean? Which was like really scary because that shit is pitch black. Like,
Yeah, no,
there ain't
I don't like that. I don't like
lights out
that.
there.
No.
Ain't no lights out there.
Well, and the scariest thing is if you do see a light, that means you're in the wrong place.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm in the wrong
that's when it gets
damn
real
place.
scary.
Yeah.
We've all seen Breaking Bad.
So the worst part about this trip, these guys could not, even though they set a record, they did not set a Guinness record because Guinness discontinued its record for speedy travel in '96.
Dangerous, too dangerous.
Yes. So now they're the speed record holders for the All 50 States Club, which is, I think, would be a cool club.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's a club that only you and
That's a
your
club.
like two buddies are in, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean,
pretty cool
It's
if you're.
it's not a speedy All 50 states. It's just people that have traveled.
Well, shit,
to
I'm
all
working
50
on.
states.
You may not know this about us, Fred, about the Black Lane Collective podcast. We're
What's
working
it?
on the record for slowest visit to all 50 states.
Oh, my deathbed. I gotta get
Right.
to Alaska.
I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, I knew it. I knew this day would come. I have to go to Florida. So that's that. We should work on that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
We should start a fake. Okay, so takeaways from tonight's show. We should start a fake holiday. We need to figure that one out. National Asparagus Barf Day. National Asparagus Pee. Every
Pee
asparagus
day.
spread, and then you supposed to like pee like for a week, and then so we start that. We don't go anywhere at night ever again. It's too scary. And then we'll slowly make our way to each of the 50 states. I love it. I love it. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening to the 58th episode of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. We'll be back with a brand new, what, did I say something wrong? We'll be back with a brand new episode. I probably did. Next week with Alan.
Looking at the cat.
Snakes on a plane, snakes on a train, breakdown. And we both have cats in our room. Fred.
Oh, the background.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Your cat is a winner.
My cat. Hate this cat. Good night, everybody.
VL, see you later.
Good night, Fred. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You hate this cat.
We are laughing. And we are very good friends. Good buddies, sharing a special moment.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Just hang loose, blood. She's gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
Oh, what a day. What a motherfucking day.
Well, that's all, folks.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Goddamn hip. Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
As you know, I'm a man of special needs.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Stay classy, San Diego.